Good morning, mathematicians. This is Mrs. Shopper coming to you with the beginning of the Unit 10 notes. This whole unit is going to be on inequalities. We're going to be utilizing our skills from solving equations to work through that process. So today we're actually going to talk about and review solving equations. So I'm going to go through some examples with you as we go through this. So here we go. When we solve equations, what we really do is we're reversing the order of operations. We add and subtract first, we multiply and divide second, and we go from there. So we use the acronym earlier in the year, SICK. Solving equations is SICK. We simplify. That's your distributing, combining like terms. Some of you like to add up. You would do that. So that's how we begin. And then we go ahead through that isolation process of adding or subtracting first, multiplying, dividing second, and so on. So when I look at this first particular problem, everything is simplified. All my terms are combined. There's no grouping symbols. We're good. So I'm going to add 2 to both sides because addition undoes the minus. And I'm going to try to get that x all by itself. And so we end up with that 4x is equal to negative 12, making sure that my computation is accurate. We're going to divide both sides by 4 because 4 undoes the multiplication. So x is equal to negative 3. And if I want to, I can put this into my calculator and see if it works. Is 4 times negative 3 minus 2 the same thing as negative 14? And you can check that out. Okay. Number 2, x divided by 2 minus 6 is equal to negative 1. Everything is simplified, so I'm going to start by undoing the subtraction by adding 6 to both sides. So x divided by 2 is 5. I undo the multiplication, or I'm sorry, undo the division by multiplying. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 2. So I'm going to get that x equals 10. And again, to check it, is 10 divided by 2 minus 6 the same as negative 1? And in this case it is, so we're good to go. All right. Looking at the next problem, again, everything's simplified. No, I don't need to combine like terms. I don't need to distribute. I don't need to do any of that. So again, undo subtraction by adding. Just realized I had all subtraction problems. Well, that's how it goes sometimes. So 3x is 15. I'm going to undo that multiplication. It's 3 times x. I undo that by dividing both sides by 3. So x equals 5. And again, you can always check it out. Is 3 times 5 minus 5 the same as 15? Nope, 10. 10, 10, 10. Oops. All right. So those are your basic 2-step types of solving equations. Now these are going to get into a couple of them, a few more steps. We're going to be combining like terms, and then we're going to go ahead and solve. So in this first example, I'm going to take 2x minus 9x. That's negative 7x plus 17 is negative 4. I'm going to subtract 17 from both sides. The reason I'm subtracting is I really want to get that x by itself. So negative 7x is equal to negative 21. I'm going to undo that multiplication by dividing. It's really important that you pay attention to the signs, making sure you're getting your negatives in there when they're supposed to be. In this case, we have a negative divided by a negative, which is positive. So x is equal to 3. Again, I really recommend checking it. Is 2 times 3 minus 9 times 3 plus 17 the same as negative 4? And you can type this into your calculator and see if you get negative 4. Looking at number 2, this one's a 2-step equation. I brought it in because the coefficient is a fraction, and I think it's good to do some review with that. So I'm going to begin by adding 8 to both sides. So 5 halves a is equal to 5. And then when you have a fraction as a coefficient, that's the coefficient's the number before the variable, it's important to look at how you want to solve it. There's actually 3 ways you can do it. One way is you can divide both sides by the fraction. One is you can multiply both sides by the reciprocal. The reciprocal, again, is where you take a fraction and you flip it. So we're going to multiply both sides by 2/5. A is equal to 2. right? And you can go ahead and enter that into your equation to see if it works. Is 5/2 times 2 minus 8 the same as -3? And you can type in what's on the left, and then you should get -3. One more before we get into some distributing. We want to combine these like terms. If you don't see a number before the variable, we assume it's a 1. So -21 is equal to 4x minus 5. Where what we want to do is make sure that we're adding 5 to both sides. And so -16 is equal to 4x. We're going to divide both sides by 4. X equals -4. There we go. Okay. This last slide that I'm going to show you is going to have some distributing and combining like terms in it. And then your activity is to work on your Schoology activities. So here we go. Let's distribute. So 4 times 5 is 20c. 4 times 2 is 8. 10 times 32 is 320. 10 times 4 is 40c. Okay. So what I'm going to do is add 8 to both sides. And I have that 20c is equal to 328 plus 40c. And I could have subtracted 20c. I could have subtracted 40c. We had a lot of options that we could do at this point. So I'm going to subtract 40c at this time. So -20c is equal to 328. And now we'll divide both sides by -20. Positive divided by a negative is negative 16.4. There you go. Looking at the next one, this is cross products, and we talked about this in class too. You use you multiply the diagonals and you set them up equal to each other. And I'm going to switch colors just because I think it'll be easier to tell the difference. But I've got 10 times the quantity x minus 2 is equal to 5 times 6. So when I distribute, I'll end up with 10x minus 20 is equal to 30. And then I'm going to add 20 to both sides. Because again, we undo addition by multiplying, undo addition by subtracting, undo subtracting by addition. So we're undoing those operations. So 10x is 50. Divide by 10. X equals 5. All right. And I have one more left for you to go. And then that's it for today. So let's take a look here. I'm going to distribute first. We always want to get rid of those grouping symbols first. So 6x plus 5x minus 5. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 1 is 5 is equal to -5 plus 12x. We're going to combine these two together and get 11x minus 5 is equal to -5 plus 12x. Let's add 5 to both sides. 11x is equal to 12x. You might say, wait a minute, how does that work? Let's keep going. If I subtract 11x from both sides, I get that 0 equals 1x. So because of that, x equals 0. All right. So when you're working through your Schoology activity, you're aiming to get 80% or better. We want to make sure that you're doing that. Save your work so that I can take a peek at that when we return to school too. So have a great day. We'll chat with you soon. Bye-bye.